In this tutorial, you'll be learning how to make a turquoise, pearl, and cubic zirconia bracelet. The tools that you're going to need for this tutorial are a pair of wire cutters, a pair of flat nose pliers, and a pair of needle nose pliers. And you're also going to need a crimping tool because we're going to crimp 2 beads, one on each end of the bracelet. There are going to be a few different kinds of beads that we're going to use in this bracelet. So first off, we're going to use some metal spacer beads. We're going to use some black cubic zirconias. We're going to use some freshwater pearls. We're going to use some turquoise beads, and then we're going to use some seed beads. So you'll need 6 metal spacer beads. You'll need 12 black cubic zirconia beads. You'll need 6 freshwater pearl beads, 3 rounded, slightly oval turquoise beads. They're pretty small. And then you'll need 18 seed beads. These are kind of big seed beads. I have them kind of like a bronze color. Okay, we're going to also need 2 crimp beads, and these are tiny. I don't know if you can see them, but we'll need 2 of them. We're going to need a clasp, so I just chose a lobster clasp. And then we're going to need 2 jump rings for finishing our bracelet on the end. This tutorial is going to be using beading wire. I just have some silver beading wire here. I'm just going to cut about, let's see, 13, about 10 to 12 inches because I'd rather have too much than too little. That's the worst. So I'm just going to cut a length of that. Okay, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to string on one of our seed beads, and then we're going to string on another pearl bead. Okay, and now we're going to put on another seed bead. And now we're going to take one of our black cubic zirconia beads and just put that on there. Let me move this here. Okay, after that, we're just going to take one of our metal spacer beads and put that right on there. And then we're going to put the cubic zirconia on the other side of that as well. And there's a little pattern forming here, which is what we want. Now we're going to take one of our seed beads again, put it right on there. And now we're going to take one of our little turquoise beads. So just put that on, and then put on another seed bead. Now we're going to take this pattern here and kind of reverse it over here. So let's put a black cubic zirconia on. Then we're going to put a metal spacer bead on. Then we're going to put another black cubic zirconia, another seed bead, another pearl, and then another seed bead. And now this, if you can see, this is a pattern. It starts with the turquoise in the middle, and then it has the same pattern going out each way. So we're actually just going to make 3 sequences of this, and that's going to be the bracelet. And it actually works out to be a perfect length. I think it's about 7 inches long. So let's go ahead and do that little sequence again. So we got seed bead, pearl, seed bead, cubic zirconia, metal, cubic zirconia, seed bead, turquoise bead, seed bead, cubic zirconia, metal, cubic zirconia, seed bead, pearl bead, and seed bead to finish it off. Okay, now we have 2 sequences, and it's starting to actually look like a bracelet. So we're just going to do this one more time, and that'll be plenty length. Because when we add the clasp on, it's going to add like an inch. So we just want to take that into consideration. Okay, so let's do that one more time. We got seed bead, pearl bead, seed bead, cubic zirconia, metal bead, cubic zirconia, seed bead, turquoise bead, seed bead, cubic zirconia, metal bead, cubic zirconia, spacer bead, pearl, and then last but not least, another spacer bead. Okay, so there is our bracelet. Now we have to finish it. To finish our bracelet, we're going to take one of our little tiny seed beads, and we're going to take one end of the wire. Make sure you don't pull it, because then the other side slides out, and sometimes the whole bracelet will just slide out the other side, and that's pretty frustrating. So just take that, and you're going to put the crimp bead on there, and you're just going to kind of hold it with your fingers, and then take one of your jump rings and put it on there too. And now you're going to take the end of your wire and bring it back through the crimp bead. Just like that, and just kind of get it as close to as possible, but not too close, because then the jump ring won't move freely. Okay, and now we're going to crush this thing with our crimping tool. So there should be 2 grooves on your crimping tool. The one that's closest to the back, that's the one you're going to use first. So just put the crimp bead in that little tool, and then just crush it down. And you should see it creates like a little dent in it, which we're going to then bend in half with this groove on the very tip of the crimp tool. So we're just going to grip the crimp bead sideways instead of forward, and just crush it in half. And then you can just tighten it when you're done. And don't tighten it that much, because it really doesn't need to be tightened too much. You could easily just break it if you kind of go crazy with it, or you could break your wire, or it could break down the road. So now we're just going to cut that excess wire. Some people like to take the end of the wire and just weave it through, but it's really preference. It's up to you, but I like to cut it. So you're just going to cut it as close as possible. There we go. Okay, now I have one side done. Now let's go to the other side. We're going to take another crimp bead, and let me cut this little bent part off, because that'll be annoying. Alright, take another crimp bead and put it on, grab it, and then take a jump ring, put that on, and now you're going to bring your wire back through, and then just grab the wire and just pull it down. You want to get it close to the bracelet. And then I just kind of, when I close it, I bend the bracelet or the necklace around this way so that it's not stiff. I know that I can have it moving freely. If I do it this way, I could do it too tight, and then when you go to bend it, it kind of is all kinked up. So now I'm going to take my crimp tool and crimp with the back groove, and now I'm going to take the front groove, bend it, and then just tighten it a tiny little bit. Okay, now we're going to trim the excess like we did on the other side. Alright, so there I have my bracelet, and now all we have to do is add the clasp. So now we're going to take our lobster clasp and we're going to put it on one of the jump rings. So I'm going to take one of my jump rings and I'm going to have to open it up. So I'll take a pair of flat nose pliers and just grab it. And if you have another pair of flat nose pliers, you can grab the other side and just kind of swing it out. You never want to pull it back and forth because that really weakens it and then it can break. So I'm just going to use my fingers because these aren't really that strong. I'm just going to bend it out just like that. Now I'm going to take my lobster clasp and just put it on there. And then I'm just going to close my jump ring. Okay. And there we have a finished bracelet. Thank you very much for watching.